Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming. This is June 3rd, Board of Selectmen meeting. Roll call, John Hotchkiss here.
Joe Bailey here.
Jim Knapp here.
Would anybody care if we had nameplates along here? Would that help anybody? Anybody care about that?
Oh, wow.
Nameplates.
He just looked
John
us up
Joe
the
They
other
all
day.
know who we are now anyhow.
Joe's wearing his name, and Jim's got part of his.
Oh, that's a hand-me-down shirt. No.
All right, minutes, please. Board of Selectmen meeting from May 13th.
I make a motion we accept the minutes.
I've read them already, so I agree.
I'll go second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Opposed? And now, non-public meeting, same date.
I move that we accept the minutes of non-public meeting, May 13th, 2019.
And I will second that as well.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay. Next is yield taxes.
Here's the first one. You have to sign page 1 and 2. So you want to see what they were.
Goes back. Okay.
That's your second one. For the yield one.
What am I signing? Page 1?
You sign, yep, you sign up here, and then if you, next page, it's right there. You have to sign one of those.
You know what yield taxes are for?
Yielding.
Thank you.
We don't have to
When
do signs.
someone wants to cut wood, they have to file what's called an intent to cut. Afterwards, the method is not entirely clear to me, somebody figures out how much was cut. I don't know if it's the logger or whatever place they go to keeps track of it, like,
The logger.
The logger.
Well, it's between the logger and the sawmill. Having done this in the past, you keep track of how much the logger sends out for pulpwood and all that. They give you a receipt of what they sent out. The sawmill will give a receipt of how many board foot taken out of sawmill, and then all those go into whatever form you're filling out, and then cordwood gets added into it as well. For how many cords? Yep, chips, cordwood, pulpwood. Yeah.
an intent to cut that we see comes from Middleton. If they haul the lumber upstate 50 miles, we still get the information, it's not conveniently,
It
Forgot.
goes to the logger and the owner.
okay.
And they're supposed
And the
to
property owner is responsible for filing everything, not the logger. The logger has really nothing.
About a year or so ago, we had that happen, and no one turned in the sheets to know what was actually logged off. So we charged a full boat of over $3,000, and they came up with the paperwork after that pretty quick to show it wasn't that much money.
The state, the first time I had logging done on my property, the state showed up. The state logging person showed up and left the business card behind my permit. So they will come in and check out, and they'll look at stumps and make sure what you're putting down is making sense to what they see on the reports.
Okay, so there is some checks and balances along the way.
Oh, sorry, John. I'm sorry. I'm hanging on to it for you.
All right, under old business, anybody that's been down there, one of you were down there, cell tower update.
I was down there today. They've started, they've got a hole dug, they hit water, close about a foot below grade. Go figure, right? They've got a 12-inch culvert buried. Pump isn't there, they must be bringing in a generator or something, but I'm sure they're gonna try to pump it out. But the water's probably a foot below grade, maybe, in that culvert. The
Okay,
excavator's down there, compactor's down there.
It's starting.
It's started.
Right, they had to expect water was gonna be there.
Yeah, everybody knew that. It's gonna-
Jim,
Yeah?
you've had some experience with cell towers. Do you anticipate that striking water will slow them up, or no, they kind of plan on it and they'll keep going?
It shouldn't, if they've got to sink, I've seen them sink 3 or 4 wells around an area.
Just to
pump
get
the
rid of-
water out,
Right,
and compact, where you pull out all that junk and put in new fill. That's
okay,
gonna be their compact.
alright, so,
They did elongate the swale in back. Rick and I were down, not Rick,
Ed?
Eddie Brett and I were down there. He needed some of our fill, you know, sort of work back and forth, so we bartered about 50 feet of swale to be done
alright,
in the back of that. That's done, they're sort of working their way.
is that the house with water runoff?
Yes, that's what it's all about. It comes out of the woods,
Right.
it's gotta go somewhere instead of onto the pad, and it
Right.
goes into the site. It sort of swirls down towards the road.
This
Okay.
is the normal course that we're taking anyhow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The work already been done, it goes right into that whole situation, so.
Okay,
It was more or less one hand washes the other type
yeah,
thing.
alright.
Which I found that's sort of the best way to deal with people.
Has anyone heard anything about a completion date?
Haven't heard a word
How
about
about a year?
Oh, I shouldn't take that one. Lord.
That's a good question.
Okay, so you think before snow flies?
Oh, gosh, I hope so. We just did one on the mountaintop in 3 weeks
Okay, alright,
with an 1,800-foot road.
alright. Alright, good.
Yeah, but you didn't have any water.
No, we got red and mud.
Any other old business from anyone?
I have a question, John.
Please do.
What's, is there any progress being made down on Middleton Building Supply with the,
Solar farm?
Solar.
thank you. I wanted to say cell tower because we were just putting solar panels. Is there any progress? No?
I have not heard anybody else?
I can tell you from the planning board's part of it is, everything's been done. All the state permits have been filed and approved by the state. The last one that has to be done at completion would be through the federal government, because they have federal.
Is that what we were waiting on, was the permits from the
The state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
and
I
they
just didn't
came
know
through,
what
so
that
everything's
was.
all fine and they.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
good.
They're
I just
all
haven't heard
ready to go.
anything more about that. That's good.
Yeah.
Alright, any other old business? Alright, I'd like to move on to new business. Fire department addition bids. People understand that we are trying to see if we can build a fourth bay under the fire department, as opposed to building a new highway garage and move the fire department into the highway garage. At the last town meeting, it was quite clear that that was not a choice that the townspeople wanted to go after. Okay? We have set aside over the years a total of $65,000 to be used for a fire department addition. We have 3 bays right now with 4 pieces of equipment, so we're trying to see if we can get a 4th bay to take care of 4 pieces of equipment, all right? We have come up with a general contractor, Ken Anderson, at no charge to the town, thank you. And we have requested bids, and tonight we're gonna look at some of the bids. Jim Knapp has been our lead person on working with Ken Anderson, so I'm gonna be pretty much quiet, but either one of you want to talk about, is everything out to bid, is some things free because people have offered to do it for free? Is there, do we talk about that tonight?
I'll
or-
go through
Okay.
what we've got. We've put most of it off a bid, some of it was donated. Perkins Concrete donated excavation work, came in really low on concrete work itself. So there's a lot of bartering back and forth. We got a really good price, you got Middleton lumber. We gave them a bill of material for everything. It was like $11,000, $11,023.
Yeah.
Everything for sheet rock and insulation. But you really can't put out the bid until you're building. A lot of it goes into steps. We have some unopened bids that we'll go through now. What I've got here is just a general budget. And we tried to go high and sort of cover ourselves.
All the bids were due, here by what date?
The 23rd
23rd.
is the bid. Then.
23rd,
By noon
end of
time.
business or by noon time?
Noon time.
Why are we waiting till now? Because we haven't met since May 23rd. That's all.
That's all.
Good.
Okay.
We're not waiting for more bids, it's just,
Okay, we ready?
I'm ready.
So your opening now is what, Jim? The bids for,
Well, this right here, I know is gonna be for framing.
oh, okay.
I won't know till I open it,
Oh,
but I
okay.
just happen to
Oh,
know
all right,
this
all right.
name,
Oh,
so it'll be
each-
for framing.
maybe Mr. Anderson can answer how it was put out. It wasn't put out as a project, each piece was put out.
Oh, okay.
Each
Alright.
different spec sheet, I guess, bid sheet was put out for
Oh,
framing,
Right.
plumbing.
Mhm.
It was like 9 different
Oh.
sheets.
Alright.
So this can be an
Some-
array of stuff.
Some have come back.
Yeah,
and
no, I.
Some haven't. And some we've got maybe one.
We didn't get a great response, but we got enough of a response.
That's good, no, that's good.
And before you actually open it,
Mhm.
I believe I'm correct in saying that we're not obliged to take the lowest bid or the medium. I'm not sure we have to take any bid. We can submit it again, go out to bid, but we're not required to take the lowest bid. All right?
Right, even in our invitation to bid, the selectmen have the right to accept or reject any and all bids.
Okay.
I think Ken and I should really meet whoever it is and make a decision.
Right.
It's first 5 minutes, you gotta figure out, okay, I like this guy. Sometimes cheapest is the best. Okay, so we'll open the first one, it's Mark Susi, and I feel it's gonna be framing contract, but I shouldn't say that. Request for framing bid. 14,600. 50% deposit, remainder upon completion. Does not include shingles, roofing. Then we do that. Okay, construction. Part of our thing was to have all insurances, so it doesn't say that. It does, and he signed it, so it must have. Proof of liability, workman's comp insurance, if he's got helpers, if he's got people. So it was 14,600.
Now, that's not putting the shingles on.
Right.
It is
that's-
putting the actual plywood down and the
I need to see it, I was.
roof
expecting
rafters.
something. Sounds like he's.
Well, yeah, what about the trusses? Is that separate?
No, that's part of Middleton's.
Oh, so it's not part of his?
No.
Okay. All right.
Normally, Middleton Lumber will come up with a crane or a truck with a cherry picker on it and set them at the same time.
Yeah, but who nails them in?
The framer, that's what we're looking for,
So
framer.
that would be Susie if he got the bid.
So for the record, so his is just to do the work with the supplies that you
Just-
provide?
Yes. We supply everything but nails. Because everybody's got different hand nails,
Right.
buy your own. Otherwise, they'll need 10 and they'll sell it by 100 pounds.
Yeah, we'll need to discuss this with him because it looks like he's included the materials for the frame, the trusses and everything. 14,600. Normally a framing bid would be right around $4,000.
So he's put in
Yeah,
material
see, well,
too.
this is, I think he's misunderstood what he needs to provide. We got a quote from Middleton for all the materials, including the shingles, of $11,023. So, let's figure out getting together with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll hold him for a meeting and say.
Okay.
Before we go further, bids are being accepted for the following: painting, interior finish, framing, drywall, roofing, insulation, foundation, excavation, and plumbing. Deadline is May 23rd. So, basically, I don't know if that's clear cut or not, but he
That we only
submitted
needed
for
the labor, not the materials.
Well, right, I
you
think
mean?
you could probably read it 2 different ways, depending,
So-
so he could have maybe provided 2 bids, one that's like, this is just the labor versus.
I think it's gonna be a matter of phone
Right.
call.
Or break it out,
Yeah.
just this one.
Well,
Could we plan to hear next week? We'd be able to contact him?
I should think.
Okay, agreeable?
this
So
envelope-
no-
Let's see what else
Put
is.
this envelope with that bid, keep them all together, so. I'm gonna put number 1 on each one of those, so we have them, know what we opened up in order.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so the next one we're gonna look at 2.
Yeah.
Gary Perkins Concrete of Rochester. data. Site work is outlined and request for excavation bid to be donated to town of Middleton. Foundation, provide labor and materials to pour 84 feet, 4-inch high, 8-inch wide foundation wall, 4,200. Floor, provide labor and materials to pour 11-yard floor, 3,025. Total cost and payment terms. Total cost, $72.25. Payment terms, half foundation addition, 1/2 of foundation addition due upon pouring of footing, 2,100. Balance of foundation due upon pouring of foundation walls, 2,100. Floor to be paid upon pouring, 3,025. Exclusions, the following is not included in the above price. Concrete pump trucks, I don't think going to need one. No blasting, hammering of ledge or boulders. Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not, yeah.
Property, no, sorry. Okay, owner's responsibility. Promptly notifies Gary Perkins of any changes or extra work. Owner is responsible for any wire work or change, removal. Okay. Owner is responsible for any wire work or change for removal of wires by electric cable, telephone company. We already know we're gonna run into the conduit which feeds it now. That'll get rearranged temporarily, once the building's up, regroup, how we're gonna refeed this. It's
Okay.
not gonna be a big deal, it's just SCR running around, but I can do something to get us going. He just doesn't wanna deal with it. Don't blame him.
Right.
The owner is responsible for obtaining any permits required to complete this project. Any fines that result from lack of proper permits will be Gary Perkins' responsibility. Shall comply with all laws, ordinances, rules, regulations, and orders of any public authority bearing on the performance of the work. He'll listen to the building inspector. Gary Perkins shall take all reasonable safety precautions with respect to his work. Perkins shall not be held responsible for unclean or unsafe conditions caused by other contractors or subcontractors. I think that's us. All materials hauled off site to become property of Gary Perkins Concrete. That works.
It's a standard language.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's the same, you can reread it, but I think it's a standard contract anyways.
Jim, what's the size of the addition?
22 by 40.
Okay, so, good. Jim, got anyone else? I think you said the excavation was free.
Yes,
Donated.
excavation was free.
What are we talking about? What it would have cost 22 by 40 if we had to pay for it?
What's your
Any idea? Anybody?
We had to
22 by
pay for
40
the We
excavation.
had to pay for the excavation.
Oh,
What do
about
you think?
$2,500.
Okay,
Yeah. So it's a
Most
nice,
generous
nice
of them.
donation.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It'd probably be nice to give him a letter so he can use for tax write-off.
So his was, what's his total number?
$7,225.
That's for foundation and flooring, is that the same thing?
Yes, foundation, floor, excavation.
We got one other bid on the concrete work alone without the excavation, that came in at 8,500. So him being at 72.25
So it's still.
overall, you know, it's a great deal.
Mhm.
8,500.
So we have another bid for the concrete that you have?
Pardon?
You have that bid with you,
I got
or?
it with me, yeah. Some of the guys didn't want to follow the rules, they're supposed to submit sealed
Right.
bids, but instead they just emailed it to me. I've got this one, I'll give you,
Yeah.
I already passed these along to Laura.
So right there.
I think that's a heck of a deal in itself.
Oh, yeah, great deal.
God,
It's just my email, so you know when it came in. Some of them email me and I just file them.
Tax or construction? out of Merrimack, New Hampshire.
What's the name of the company?
Paxor, Paxor. Well, scope of work, this is a sheetrock. Half-inch sheetrock, tape compound 3 coats or until smooth, sanded prime. Contractor shall provide all labor, equipment, material to accomplish a complete scope of work. Well, you were right, man. $8,412.
Came in
For
at eight.
just for drywall?
Because the bill's not even built and we knew this was gonna happen, we're gonna throw a high number at it.
Yeah.
So I'd say this one goes out.
Well, he said material, which we were gonna supply the material, right?
Not the sheetrock and insulation.
Oh, okay,
No,
that's not,
that's
okay.
cold.
So see, this is.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's 8, 412.
412, 33.
Oh, 30%,
Okay.
That seems a little steep, you wanna read it, guys?
Is that the only thing he submitted?
It is, it's way up
It's
there.
where I thought so.
It's,
Because we only budgeted.
Once we have a building built, things like insulation, sheetrock, painting, we get a much better bid on somebody.
We were talking just this afternoon, I figured that was gonna
Yeah,
happen.
so all we need to get started is the excavation, foundation, the plumbing work that goes into the pad, and frame and roof. And then we'll tend
Well, then we can sit back, regroup,
Right, I was gonna say, at least you get part of it, this, this piece
Like
done,
it's shedding
and then you,
water.
right.
is the biggie.
Yeah.
What we did also, because that was the last bid, right?
And that's all I
Yeah.
had.
What we
Ken
did
had
was
another
just
one,
put
though.
some numbers
Yeah.
at things that we didn't have bids. That's what the budget went high.
So that last one you just gave me, Ken, can I have that back for a second so I put it all together
There's
myself?
also Merrimack's, kind of far, don't they usually throw in for travel or everything?
Oh,
We
yes,
had
yes.
people from Ohio request the specs. Legit.
Yeah,
Really, wow.
but they're clearing.
Because if they hear you're building a firehouse addition,
That's-
I think it's,
Think it's a
apparently
big
haven't been
deal.
to Middleton, have they?
They're thinking, public safety building, nice
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
project, but.
Because I have a lot of.
you're thinking $1 million project.
I wanted to ask Ken, I have a lot of people going, we want the lowest bid aspects or something, like, I don't even know what they're asking for, they want like a list of
Oh,
stuff
maybe a
from,
minimum bid.
from the people that like had bid, and I'm like, I don't,
Or you
have
can't
to
do
email
it.
everything to these people? All the
Yeah.
spec sheets, like,
Yeah, we're talking about pre-construction conferences and site visits. and,
yeah,
and that's big time, that's what you do in the city.
but I mean, even people want the results, like people in Ohio, I'm like, am I supposed to scan all these papers that you got in, and,
I guess,
I mean, I don't.
So, okay, we got one bid from Badger Plumbing and Heating to do the in-slab work. And
yeah, I'll get that one. What was Badger's?
and that was
For the plumbing?
Yeah, the plumbing was
$1,940.
$1,940. What we're asking for plumbing is pretty minimal, so we're gonna put this under the bid. He was actually the only one that bid it. But, because in other words, we don't wanna just cut him a check, because I think it's way high. But let's see where it comes in at.
But it's getting somebody to bid is the,
Right, yeah, if he's our only bid, if
He's our
$1,900
only
gets it
guy.
done, then $1,900 isn't really enough to.
We're both
Well,
in
but
the
you
room,
can-
so it's tough.
go back and forth and say, hey,
But what we're asking for the plumbing is just the part that would go where the cement is.
Right.
Not the finished work inside, not hooking into the septic, just put it in place so you can pour cement.
and maybe he didn't, and maybe,
Just seems high.
Maybe he
Let me
didn't
itemize
understand
everything.
Uh, But in that same line, we've got Jeff Brownell,
oh, yeah.
sewage designer, septic system designer. I talked to him week before last, he said either last week or this week. We're sort of on the back burner, that he's real busy, and we're not gonna do it right off. His estimate, or his price, is $1,300 to design a system.
Oh, right, yeah, yeah.
That's not gonna change. Then it goes out for bid for installation.
Right.
We just wanna know what's possible.
Right.
It sort of ties into the Eddie Badger thing, just get me pipe out the building,
Right.
and we'll take it from there.
Right.
Okay, then the one other bid that was sent to me was for
Okay.
Castaldo
Out of
concrete.
Tamworth?
Yep.
Yeah,
And,
Castaldo Concrete out of Tamworth,
And he came in at $8,800.
8830. 22 by 44 foot.
Is that the design we wanted, the 4-inch slab or 6-inch slab?
The other one, Perkins was a 4-inch slab, correct?
Yeah.
No, they're all bidding on a 6-inch slab.
And
That's
this is down for Sewell right here.
It's a 4-inch slab.
Is code, is there
Is that
a
what you thought?
specific, is
I
code
thought-
specific?
I thought someone said 4-inch
We're
already.
gonna go with 6-inch only because it's an ambulance now, but they put fire truck.
No, no, that's what I'm saying, so I didn't know if there was code for that.
You
I
just go with the
go back
4-inch?
and check Perkins.
Oh.
I thought I heard someone say 4-inch.
6 inches on the written specifications, so
Yeah,
that makes Perkins a lot better.
4,000 pound concrete, 1-inch reinforcement.
Did Perkins do a 6-inch?
I think Perkins just called out cubic feet.
Site work, foundation is provide labor material to form for a 84.
This is
84
for
feet,
the,
84
this
feet
one.
of 4 foot high, 8-inch wide foundation wall.
I do 44.
11-yard floor.
So, but there's 11-yard floor, it can come out in, is that gonna be 4-inch or 6-inch?
I guess we'll have to calculate it.
Does that mean-
In the specifications, written
said
specifications,
six,
it was
right?
given to them, it calls out for a 6-inch slab.
So that one, yeah, they didn't bid outright, so I don't think they should be considered. I mean, did any
Well,
of
they
these
did
bids come in
come off.
after the 23rd deadline?
Are these cubic feet or cubic yards?
Huh?
I think the one in your hand,
Good,
Dave.
yeah.
This one here?
I think so. One of those
11 would be cubic
signed.
yards.
Okay.
So the bid would go up anyways if he's gonna come back.
Right, if it's 2 inches thicker.
Yeah.
8,300. $1,500 more.
And it's not a spec yet.
And it's not thick yet.
I just asked a question, but if any of these bids come in, the one Perkins is kinda like that, it's dated 5/29/19, which is supposed to be submitted the 23rd, 6 days late, but,
Right. No, you're right, yep.
Do you disqualify it for
well,
that? I don't know.
we've only got 2 bids for concrete. You know?
Yeah.
So,
You take
But I mean, you don't have to
the,
accept either,
That's
right?
Maybe
all
if we go
right.
back and clarify saying, these are true, you know, I mean, this is what you submitted and, you know.
We're sort of against the rock and hard spot too, because there's a ton of work out there, and people aren't beating down the doors to get this job.
Right. And you didn't have to put it out to bid to begin with.
Exactly.
It's not
The
required.
only thing
And
that's
we can
required
waive-
to be out to bid is anything that the board does. I'm an electrician, Joe's a gas guy. I don't think anybody can really beat our price if we donate 50%. You know what I mean? I can be real flexible. Cross that bridge when we get there though. But that's the only thing at RSA that we had to deal with.
Yeah, we read the requirements pretty carefully in terms of.
I gave it to you, didn't I, too?
Yeah, and there's no requirement that we actually put it out to bid. There's no requirement that we have sealed bids.
Right.
I feel like if, since we've gone through that process, you know, we more than covered ourselves. Now as we go down the pike, all we need to do is reasonably ask around, see who's interested, get a price, and then continue. Because people have had the opportunity to answer the bid, answer within the deadlines, and they didn't. So now we just go as we need to find people to
As we
work.
need.
to get the job done.
Reaches that point, I think, where we just gotta do what we do.
Any need to call Perkins to try to figure out why they were late? Or,
I don't think it matters either way.
okay.
Yeah,
If,
I started working with them early on, told them what the deadlines were, and then finally, last week, I said, you know, the selectmen meeting this next Monday,
Right.
I need to have something for him, and he scrambled and got it to me rather than, you know, a sealed bid to Laura, but, you know, that's just what
I
it
think it's
takes.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
The only thing I got, and as a positive Perkins, is he's going to do some stuff for free out front anyhow, but, I mean, that is a good gesture, but still, I mean, not coming in on time.
You missed the deadline, first thing out.
I don't know, I think.
Do we really wanna disqualify somebody
Right.
because they
That-
missed it by 3 or 4 days? It's not as if you got 5 people waiting to do
Right.
it.
No, but at the same token, why have a deadline?
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory.
It-
Maybe
it
not
was-
write them off directly, but that's definitely part of the
However,
conversation.
this is true, however, you weren't looking at them until today, so they could have
Mhm.
technically had till last, so,
Right.
right, you can look at it either, however, I mean,
Right, it's a check in the con
your
column, but it doesn't
decision.
disqualify.
right, and I think they're, you know, I mean, if they're meeting this bid specs, because I think you'd have to go back to that, the other one, that Castaldo, because they only
Right.
bid at 4-inch and you want a 6-inch, so there is some.
Plus the bid was higher.
Right.
Right.
So,
So would Perkins' bid be higher if that's a 4 and not a 6? We don't know that. We
Right, so I think
question.
there's
I believe that's
the way-
11 yards looks like a 4-inch. If it's a 40 by 22 slab,
Is that what it came out to?
It's a
I don't have
4
my calculator with me, so
It's a
I.
4-inch slab.
You're thinking they're both 4-inch.
right.
So they're both bid on a 4-inch slab. So their price will still probably be, having worked with Gary, he'll probably work with you.
Gary is Perkins?
Yeah.
Okay.
But even if we gotta pay for a couple inches of concrete, it is what it is. You have to do it anyways.
That's a 6-inch, right? 'Cause that's
Right.
right.
Right,
Exactly. That's what you say to
But
him.
if we start doing that, we're gonna get bare minimum.
I know, but I'm just saying, you know, that was, I mean, at least if the specs were told to them that way, then I would have thought that.
You know what happens then? As a contractor, you're gonna make up wherever you can.
Well, right, yeah.
You're gonna get
Yes, I definitely know, yeah, I definitely.
bare minimum, everything else, because I'm gonna make up.
Right.
I thought it's better to be sort of upfront.
No,
What can we
right.
do? What's fair? Guys will work with you.
So what is your pleasure? Do you, some of these I'm not ready to accept. Ken, I agree with you. To get this thing started, digging in the ground comes first. Okay, we're not looking at June.
What I'd like to do is meet with the 2 contractors that we think we want to work with, go through the specs, make sure we're all on the same page, and once Jim and I can confirm that with them, then at this next meeting, award the contracts.
So come back a week from tonight.
And hopefully
You're okay
agree
with
on
that?
something, hopefully to pick a to go forward, right? I mean, just because
Yeah,
that's, we don't want the process.
season's coming.
Right, I was gonna say, I mean, we don't wanna slow, so I'm thinking you're gonna get the stuff back next week and the decision will be made.
Right,
Okay,
yeah.
that sounds good.
Off we
So
go.
we'll nail it down next week. No, you told me today it was already dig safe?
We already have the dig safe permit, and as soon as we know who we're working with, we can draw the building permit from John. We gotta put down names, you know, so.
And has dig safe been out there, or you just gotta call them?
No, they've been out there.
Oh, they have. Yeah. So I'm gonna get rid of the ambulance and whatever else is parked in that area.
It's only the ambulance there right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and take down the boardwalk that's along the side.
Yeah, and you know that you're gonna lose your
Yep. That's fine.
porch.
Yeah.
I'm sad about that.
I'd like to try to summarize and make sure we're all talking the same thing. Septic design, Jeff Brunel. We okay with that? I don't know if you're gonna get it any
I
less
don't
than
think
that.
so.
So we're okay to talk to Jeff to move ahead. Somebody, is it you, Ken, or you, Jim, are gonna talk to Perkins? I guess it'd be you.
Yeah, I'll talk to Perkins and then
Yeah, we'll get together.
coordinate
Right.
with you.
Yeah.
Badger Plumbing, what are your thoughts? It seems high to me, but.
It's very hard, but if we don't get another bid, I hate to hold up the project
We,
to save $500.
my feeling is we should just go with Badger's price on that.
Good.
We've called just about every plumber in the world, and nobody's interested in even giving a price. They're too busy.
Good.
Plumbers are tough.
How about Middleton Lumber? Their price?
Their price is real good.
That includes the trusses?
Includes trusses, all framing materials, roofing materials, texture 111 siding.
And what was Middleton's bid?
11,023.
$23.
For the framing labor, you're gonna contact Mark Susi to get that clarified. It does seem high for just labor.
Yeah, usually labor is $4.50 a square foot, and we've got 800 and some square feet. So I was figuring about $4,500. If you take a look at his bid, if you were to add $4,500 to Middleton's building materials at 11, it just seems that he misread the bid sheet and included the materials.
Well, he
So-
probably called Middleton Building,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
got the same number.
if I were framing that
If that's
out,
the case, then whatever.
yeah, if I were framing that out, it would take me 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you figure a crew, 3 guys, 4 days' work, it's not $14,000. So something's amiss there.
But we could come back Monday with an answer, so we can get moving. It seems like after the foundation and get the plumbing holes put in, next thing is put up the 3 walls and the trusses. And it's gonna take a while to order the trusses, right? They don't have them sitting out in the yard already, not 40-foot trusses.
When should we order the trusses? I wonder what the lead time is.
Well, we should order the trusses as soon as we sign the contracts. Yeah, see, it's probably 2 or 3 weeks this time of year to get the
Okay.
trusses.
So by the time they show up, they start doing the groundwork and stuff like that, whatever, and that trusses should be close to being built by that time.
Right.
So as long as they start the project fairly well, maybe a week later, from the time they get the bids.
Hopefully, our concrete work will be followed right off with the framing. And it's a small job, both of these are small jobs, so these guys could fit it in and we can coordinate together.
And again, after the trusses are up, does Middleton Lumber include the plywood or Advantech, whatever you're gonna put down on top of the trusses?
Yes.
But it does not include the actual shingles.
It-
Shingles on.
It includes the shingles, but doesn't include putting them on.
Right. Yeah, so I'm still looking for a labor contract for
Okay.
shingling. Yeah. And it could be, we had a guy who, I thought, another local guy, who was gonna give us a roofing price, and he didn't come through. But the fellow that's doing the framing there will probably just give me a price now for roofing.
Okay.
If he doesn't, I think I know
You know,
something.
other folks are welcome to join in. If you've got some ideas on people, let us know, because we want to get this thing done.
Yeah, this is a busy season, it's hard to find.
It's very hard to find.
It's a rough season, everybody's booked right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never been on.
Ken? New England Roofing? Tried them?
I haven't, no,
New England Roofing did the highway garage.
okay.
They weren't too bad either.
No,
Really quick.
Yeah.
It's not a
I
big
just-
roof. They got
Yeah, it's 20 square,
They wanna get out.
and if
yeah.
you get
They wanna get out and
a
get
price
paid.
of $100 a square, it should be about $2,000, but since it's real busy, it could be between 2 and 3.
I've seen it work, it is good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but you ever notice the busier people are, the price goes up.
Right. And is the roof supplies included in that list?
Yeah, I just saw, I'm looking for shingles right now. I saw a deal.
Just so Ken will know that he doesn't have to, you don't have to get the supplies, so maybe it'll be even quicker. I'm like, all right, I don't have to worry about ordering
Right, they just
stuff.
have to show
Yeah,
up.
right there.
Show up and just,
Show up and
66.
hammer
We'll
it
have
down.
Middleton put it right up on the roof for them, make it feel.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, there's your shingles right there.
Yep.
Yeah, so that,
There's
there's
3 bundles.
Somebody separately used to do for
Three
part-time
bundles a
work, my
square.
dad would bring them to work, and
Fiberglass
he'd just
metric,
carry them up and down, and
1700
just
watts.
bundle
It
the
doesn't say how
shingles
many
in high
square.
school.
That's enough to do the
I
job.
can't do that.
Well, there's one
Yeah,
square.
this would have been,
Like-
15 years ago.
Takes 3 bundles for a square.
I can tell you that New England Roofing, 3 years ago, put the roof on one
So
of
it's
the,
right up
actually
to
both
show
of the
water.
buildings at the Crime
Interior
Museum.
door was on here.
2 years ago, half a dozen shingles blew off. They repaired it free of charge, even though the side going up to that barn roof, easily 40 or 50 feet, no charge. This last winter, some other shingles blew off. They came back and fixed it again, no charge.
No kidding.
Yeah, and again, it's not like you just put a 20-foot ladder up. This thing is huge. You include the basement all the way up, just to the eaves. They get up there and fixed it, so I'm impressed. I mean, I look at people and say, who in the world's gonna go up there? Okay. So, something to think about, but I don't know how busy they are.
Is that part of this package here?
All right?
Is that on here?
Garage door, yeah.
Okay.
We just
6,000.
budgeted, because we didn't know, $6,000 for that.
Okay.
Again, all the budgeting is sort of throw a
Okay.
number at it,
Yep.
and hopefully we put in enough.
Okay.
For the septic system, there's several companies around that you might be able to contact when the time
Yeah.
comes.
Yeah, we need the design first, and then
That would certainly
we can
help.
ask for quotes.
Yes. All right,
Well,
so
chase that.
comments from anyone? Feels over. We are moving,
Right.
and some folks in the audience have said it's a busy time. It is. It's hard to get people to work now. Some of them are 2 or 3 months out.
Yeah. But there again, it's a small job, so I'm sure we'll find people as we go along.
Right.
Somebody's gonna have a free weekend.
Right.
Can we read for the record what wasn't bid on, like the painting, just in case somebody's watching the video and, oh, I can do, you know what I mean, some
Well,
local.
the roof, going down the list, the frame, the roofing labor was not,
Correct.
okay? The electric and heat is gonna be by donation. The installation budget was not, the sheet rock
It was too
was,
high.
it was a high bid of $8,800.
So we
Um,
bid.
Yeah, the exterior interior painting was not bid on. Interior finish, is that trim boards and stuff like that on the doors and stuff, whatever? Okay, that has not been as a budget. Garage doors, we have not received a bid for that. The septic system, obviously we have not, and the bath fixtures being installed have not been. That would be the sinks, the toilets, and all that stuff.
And I would caution everyone that we'll go as far as we can with 65,000.
Right.
Fortunately, the construction trailer will be there through the winter, so if we cannot actually install the bathroom fixtures, there's still a bathroom to use, right?
So basically underneath here, you have 55,988. Is that's the total of this list here?
Right. Before
Okay.
we added anything.
Okay, all right.
So if
So-
all
so-
went well, you'd be able to complete everything
At this point,
with the money that's out there.
Yes.
right,
With some room to, like.
Well,
There's so
Right.
many
but I mean, you'd be able
variables.
to you'd be able to complete the bathroom,
right.
so you could technically get rid of the trailer.
So basically,
That's-
like the garage doors, they have,
That would be the goal.
the garage doors, we haven't had a bid on yet,
Yeah.
but we have set aside $6,000 for that. So if you take all the high numbers, at this point, say $56,000, that leaves $9,000 for like this and this, whatever.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
it might, you know, at this point, probably,
It's-
I think the septic should be the biggest.
Oh, that's gonna be a killer.
It also
But we
doesn't
don't
hurt
know
to have
that.
the numbers, because then, like you said, if you run out and you didn't finish the last bit, then you've got the meeting next year, you know, oh, we need 10 grand to finish
Definitely
this.
need to have
Boom,
this.
That's it, and you can just ask for
But
it.
at least show them something.
Right,
My thought is just get a shed in water.
right.
Called dried in.
Dried in, but like the garage doors,
Yeah.
I think it would be remiss just to buy the cheapest one out there. Get the same people who take care of the highway garage, fire department now, put a garage door in. Now you're gonna maintain them every year.
Right.
We just got that set up at the fire department, so they come every year. Just try to keep everything
Yep.
squeezed together.
Ken and Jim, bids for all of these have gone out, a request for bids. So I believe now, living in a small town, this is open to any of us, including you folks, talking to other people. Hey, want some work? Talk with either Jim Knapp, Ken Anderson. We need someone to put up sheetrock. We need someone to do the installation. Okay?
Yeah.
You're right, it's not a huge job. And one big open room is a whole lot easier than a 6-room house.
Right.
Right.
Good? So,
Yeah, they can put it in when they've got that 2-week window between, you know, job A and job B.
Yeah.
Slide it in there, pick up some work.
A lot of those guys that doing the installations, 1-day jobs.
Right.
uh,
Quick.
what I've found with insulation, correct me if I'm wrong, you've seen the big trucks, which blow insulation. It's
Superior
usually
insulation
cheaper
in
to
the
hire
house.
them guys, because they're like train loads of insulation.
Yeah, it's cheaper to have superior insulation to it
Is that the
than to
name?
go
Yes.
buy the materials
Yeah,
yourself.
you can't even buy the materials for the
No.
price they'll come in and do it for you.
And
Everybody says we're gonna save money, do it ourselves.
as soon as we got the frame up, we'll have the guy come over and he'll give us a price and,
Yeah.
you know, he'll be in there the next week and it'll be done.
And
And the ceiling gets blown, so once the sheet rock's up, it's pretty close, so.
How high are the walls before you put the ceiling on? 14 foot?
Actually, they're a little over 12 feet, be matching the wall on the existing building.
So I wanna see the mutters come in on stilts for a 12-foot ceiling. 12-foot wall.
Yep.
and they're going to all speaking French.
All right,
Spanish.
thank you both for going on this, and
Okay.
we'll meet again next week.
Who wants the
Okay, I'll
bid?
talk to you.
Ken, do you want these bids, or you wanna hang on to them? I don't
You
know.
want copies, right?
Yep, I'm all set.
You're all set?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll keep it all in the file anyways.
All right?
Actually, no, yeah, I need those back,
Which one?
because Perkins and,
Why don't you take them home and get done with
Just
what
take
you
them
want,
home.
bring them
I'll
back.
get with you in the next day or two,
Yeah,
okay,
that way if you have it, you have it right at your fingertips.
because we're gonna wanna get hold of Perkins and,
you ought to keep the originals here. Bucky didn't make copies for them.
Okay,
Okay.
well, two of them, one of them you emailed me, so you should have that one, right? That's the one you emailed to me.
Yeah. But I don't have,
Art Seuss is the only one I don't have in an email.
I don't have
There is
Mark's.
I
Yeah, this one have Mark's.
can just scan them and email them to you,
Okay, very good.
that's easier.
All right,
All right.
thank you much.
Thank you, sir.
thank you, Ken, thank you.
All right, other new business. Anyone? Okay. Any other business, public participation, anything else going on?
I'll ask
Yes.
the question again.
No.
Anything happening with the letter going about the business that's not supposed to be a business up behind my house?
Joe, done anything with the, in terms of the planning board, or are we waiting for?
Planning board, we talked about it and stuff like that, and they feel that it's not a planning board issue, it's a code enforcement issue at this point. So, basically, I think what the next step has to be done is code enforcement has to submit a letter, a so-called a cease and desist, because it's not a legal business. And they're operating, if they went to the state, they provided themselves with a business name through the state, so they're saying they are a business. But they never come to the planning board to submit the paperwork to become a business on that location. So, having said that, what used to be a hobby, good old boys playing with cars and stuff like that, now has become a business. Now, when they get that, they got that notice from the state saying that they are a legal business, that's not right, they can't do that, so. They know this, it has been said a year ago, about this time, so, enough talk, we need to have to move on this, and
No
we gotta take care of it,
contact, John Malone.
so.
Good.
And no matter how you slice it, that is code enforcement's job,
All right.
so.
Good.
So. Having said that, that's about as far as we can go,
Okay.
so.
Okay, thanks.
All right, other new business.
Ooh, I have a question. Is there gonna be any more, no, well, I was gonna say, is there gonna be anything more coming up for, town property coming up? I don't know, I was just asking, not that I'm looking.
Like tax auction or whatever.
Yeah.
Not,
Okay,
no.
I didn't think so.
The stuff we just deeded has to go through like the
Okay.
whole
No,
planning
I-
board and,
Yeah,
conservation and all of that
I was
before.
just curious.
And we only
'Cause
took
I know you do that
the,
like that once or twice a year, so I was just
yeah,
curious.
I haven't got anything new, everything that just keeps sitting there, is all the swamps that
But,
nobody
Laura,
wants.
am I correct in saying that the list is public knowledge, and anyone who wishes to look at the list and make a bid at any time may do so?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
You,
alright.
you do not have to wait for an invitation from us. Laura does it as a service, she picks out half a dozen
Yeah,
properties, says,
Oh,
well,
I
maybe
didn't know
somebody's
that.
interested in these, and puts them out on some sort of media. Anybody wanna bid on these? But
I
the
didn't
list
know.
itself is, what, 30?
maybe, yeah,
Where do you find the list?
I have
Go
that.
down, well, I was gonna say you can go out on the tax, I don't know,
That's all public knowledge, is to,
Yeah, well, I knew it's out there somewhere, but
Yeah.
I just know there's a couple people in town that
Where
have
you-
been
where you
like
can
going
go-
door to door even almost.
They've been here.
So they're looking for.
They're looking for a buildable, nice, flat lot.
Yeah, go.
Oh,
Good luck.
no, we had people asking about a house.
Yeah, no,
Like
they
an actual-
they come in here, they've been checking on, like, oh, who owns this house? All right, I'm gonna go knock on their door and ask if I can buy their house.
Gotcha.
Legit.
We got a letter in the mail from
Nobody's
somebody we
walked on
beat
my
when we
house, so
offered
yes,
on our
probably
house.
is.
We beat them, and then apparently they came back and said, well, the house we had sold for more than we thought it would. Now we'd like to make you an offer, for this amount. And we were like, well, that's great. That sounds good. No.
Yeah.
You have to think about it for a minute, but
I have a question for you folks. Received a concern from a Middleton resident who had a door-to-door salesman going to the house.
Mhm.
And she asked what she should do about it if it happens again. I said, easy, call the police. In order to do any door-to-door salesman type work, you have to get a permit from the police department. Make sure who they are. Apparently this person had an ID tag, but by today's rules, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I can make one of those.
all we've seen is that we know there's one in town that had a permit. 'Cause
Alex.
Yes, Alex, because it set off
Is that the,
fireworks.
is that the one
The
you
blue
saw?
Prius. I don't know.
Alex
He was the
Szymanski?
one at my
Yeah.
house
Alex
today.
Szymanski, yeah, okay. Yeah,
Right.
no, he was at our house.
Yeah, he came to my house and he tried to sell me the book. I said, I wrote you the permit. And then I, just so it's on the record, I did bring up that there were people complaining he was after the 6 p.m. allotted time. I
Right.
told him I'm gonna cut up his permit if he goes to people's houses after 6 p.m.
Right.
because it's 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and that was
Well,
that.
people were complaining, but it seems to be that there's more than Alex. Because I
There
remember
is.
last year there were people
Yeah.
complaining about 9:30 at night,
Well,
people coming and knocking on windows,
Is
things
this
like
guy
that.
from Florida?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Books,
It's
like
a-
Look, no, and we are, and the funny part about it is he came to our house, I don't know, I wasn't home, I don't know what night it was, but Jim, he comes in, he's like asking, you got any kids? And he's like, no, blah, 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 this and that. Well, it happens to be our door to our downstairs, because we have a split entry, there's a bookcase there. Well, the books that he's selling, we have the books from when my kid, probably we bought them like 20 years ago, 15 or
Right.
20 years. And the guy was just fascinated that we had the books.
Right.
And he's like, apparently you don't need them. He's like, no, we're good, or whatever.
we just
So-
look at like we don't mind that he's in town. Door to door is fine. But I have a 3-year-old in the house that only naps when he wants to, and I have 3 very loud dogs that announce anybody who comes. And it's like, I don't care, I just don't want you knocking on my door. And I put a sign on the door, and sure enough, what did we hear earlier? Knocking. Big sign on the front door
What's
where
he
he's
selling
knocking,
anyhow?
saying no soliciting,
Educational books.
just so I don't get
Like science
disruptive.
Come to my house, see how many books.
It's
Right.
it's
We just didn't answer
Which is
because
kind of
Dawn
funny
wouldn't
that
be
they
nice
actually still sell
necessarily.
what street do you live on?
We're on Lakeshore.
Oh, because they told him there was no kids in our entire neighborhood, so I don't know why he came to your house. I said there was none between me and Middleton Building. So I tried.
Not on Ridge Road either.
No, I said there was none on that whole side of town. I said, we're in the country. The country folk live over here. All the kids are on the other side of town.
Right. Yeah, go over the way.
No, I just put a sign. I'm like, I don't want to be mean about it, but I'm like, I work from home some of the times. I don't want to be disrupted. I don't want you waking up my kid. And of course, he did, but he left.
I
One
think
knock, left.
the biggest one
you know.
we had was Avatar going around, but they now check with the PD.
Yeah.
They're like, no, they
Right.
didn't say, we're in town doing our business and stuff
Right.
like that, so.
Yeah, I just said what John said. I put it right on there for anybody who was complaining. I'm like, just call the police.
Yeah.
Like, if they're outside of permit hours, where it's very clear this is when they're not supposed to be here, 9:30 is ridiculous, call the police.
Yeah, that was
And
bad.
just, keep it nice and simple.
Roxanne, just out of passing curiosity, did this salesman come before or after you had your pet black bear?
I don't know. I can't remember what night he came. I'm trying to think of what night he came, what night I was.
That might have
Oh,
dissuaded most salesmen if you talked about your pet bear out in the.
I'm not issues, but you walk back to that blue house, they might buy some from you.
Yeah.
All I get is Jehovah's Witnesses. You too?
No, I'm okay.
If you know
I
where
gotta
I
be
live,
careful, I'm
that's a
okay.
shock.
I gotta be
Try to be
careful.
nice to him, but
We haven't had, this was our first door-to-door actually, that we've had. So, I was liking that, I'm like, we're off the beaten path, it's not likely, I'm like, this is awesome.
my driveway looks like a dirt road in the woods. I
Oh,
mean,
no,
you just
no.
pulled in.
Mine's nice and easy, it's right there, very easy stop unfortunately.
All right, anything else for the good of Middleton? Motion for adjournment.
Look at that.
So moved at 7:26.
Wow. Is there a second?
Second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Ah.
That's it. Thank you.